Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's video is an album review on Telex 1980 album, Neurovision. Um, Telex were, looking at my notes here, Belgian, all Belgian electronic disco pop band formed in 1978 by Mark Mullen, who was the programmer, and then a guy named Dan Laxman, and vocalist Michel Moores. Wanted to make sure I get that right because I'm not great with names with bands that I know their music, but I don't necessarily know them. So I wanted to make sure I got that right. Um, this is their second album. They had five albums from 1978 to 1987. They had a couple hits with their first album. Moscow Disco was a huge one. Even in American dance clubs during the time. That was actually the first time I heard them. I have their late '90s. I heard Moscow Disco on a mix that a friend did, and I was like, "What is this?" It was like sounded sort of like Kraftwerk, and so I went out and probably sometime during that year, so I found a 12-inch of Moscow Disco in a record store, so I bought it, and I always liked playing that. And there's quite a few different versions of that track, but it is a really cool kind of disco kind of electronic song. And then a few years later, I got this release. I only have two of their five albums. I don't have their first album. I have their first and I think their last album. Um, if you've never heard Telex, I guess if you took Kraftwerk, Art of Noise, and maybe Yellow and sort of mixed them together, you would have Telex. Um, they have sort of a very electronic, but it's also kind of Belgian French, kind of wee wee. No, I'm just kidding. It's kind of a you know sort of like a disco, sort of a little bit new romantic kind of sound in there. Dancey, but um, definitely Giorgio. Um, oh, got a Marauder. Sounding. It's got that disco kind of feel, that kind of sequencer feel sound. Um, I guess some people would say there's sort of electro pop sound. Sometimes it's a little cheesy, but I think all of it is really well done. I really like the production of the album, the mixing, and the use of sounds in here is all in kind of a entertaining, catchy, kind of electronic slash disco sound. Um, there's nine tracks on here. The first track is "We Are Getting Old." So I'm just gonna go through the songs and then rate each song and then give the overview and rate the album. So the first track is "We Are Getting Old." It's really catchy, nice sequenced rhythm. Definitely has some cool sounds in it. That's one thing you'll notice about Telex is they're very catchy. Um, Especially this album here. I've heard the first album and I've heard the fifth album. I haven't heard the third or the fourth album, but it seems like almost every song is very catchy. So to say this is a catchy song, um, like most of them are really catchy. Even if you don't like them, they're kind of simple and they're fun. Um, we Are Getting Old, 2.5 stars. My Time I like a little bit better. It's kind of it sounds like the model by Kraftwerk. Kind of sounds like the model, but not maybe as mysterious. A little bit more like a happy ballad kind of thing. It's got a nice heavy analog sound though. Nice melody, kind of melancholy. I like the way he sings it. I got it 3 stars. Tour de France, interesting track. Did it? So it was 3 years before Kraftwerk's version. I think Tour de France came out in 82, 83. This came out in 80. So it's interesting they came out with Tour de France and then Kraftwerk came out with Tour de France. makes the connection sound wise, and then also the last song sounds like the model, and then this song is Tour de France, and then they're doing a song called Tour de France. So I didn't know. Of course, I know Tour de France by Kraftwerk. I've known it for probably since it came out, but I didn't know that Telex did a song called Tour de France. So if you like Kraftwerk and you don't know Telex, get Telex because you will really enjoy it. If you like Art of Noise, check out Telex. If you like Yellow, check out Telex. What else? Yeah, just kind of any kind of electro pop. I don't listen to electro pop nowadays. I know there's some bands out there like there's quite a few on like Ghostly International. They have kind of like some poppy kind of electronic artists. I'm blanking on some of their names, but the Telex has that kind of electro pop sound. They would go. I think they would go over good right now, or even just last 20 years with all the kind of electro pop that's been happening the last 20 years. Um, Tour de France, very different though than the other version. Raw lyrics have a cool kind of aggressiveness to it. This is actually kind of a different song than most of their songs. Um, Nice beat, nice groove. 2.5 stars. Eurovision, kind of cheesy, but it's still a fun song. Good song. 2 stars. Plus, the Plus de Distance is tied for my favorite song on the album. Nice change of pace. I really like this one. Smooth, very cool sounds. Excellent chorus. I like the main keyboard lead. It's so simple, but it's so great. Got 3.5 stars. Dance to the Music, track number 6. It's got some nice sounding keyboards too, but it's kind of corny. 1.5 stars. Uh, Reality, a little more serious bass line sound and keyboards. Good verses. The chorus is all right though. I got 2.25 stars. And then track number 8 is tied with my favorite with 3.5 stars. I really like the rhythm. Really cool kind of main melody hook. I like what he's talking about, the A and the B. He's saying he's kind of instructing the DJs to sort of play track side B because it has the more interesting music. I think that's kind of cool for 1980. That that's kind of the 76, 77 to 78. 76 to like 80 is kind of the first real incarnation of the disco DJ, and I think it's cool that some band is kind of instructing a DJ to sort of play the B sides because they're sort of more unique or different or cooler to play. So it's kind of also got a cool kind of proto techno song. Um, yeah, it's cool. It's 3.5 stars. Cool track. Track number 9, En route pour de nouvelles aventures. It's my French there. This one's not bad. Kind of grows on you through the track. Nice groove. 2 stars. Good track. So when I add that up, I got 22.75 stars divided by 9 songs. So it's a 2.52. So it kind of puts it around a 60. And I kind of agree with that. I give it a 61 out of 100. So it's good album for sure. Really enjoy it. It's good sound. If you like Kraftwerk, check it out. If you don't like Kraftwerk, you may not like it. If you don't like Art of Noise, I don't think you'll like it. It's very simple but well done because of the unique, sound modules at the time and keyboards and stuff like that. It definitely has that, 1980 vintage sound of disco and sort of electro pop becoming sort of cool and sort of a little bit of a new wave sound, new romantic sound in a strange way. Very kind of French and Belgian sounding as well. Some of the songs are in French, but really cool album and very eclectic and different and unique in a lot of ways and in some ways kind of groundbreaking. Because there weren't a lot of bands that sounding like this, and you think of like Kraftwerk, what they talk about. Technically, Kraftwerk talk about like I wouldn't say world events. They got radioactivity, but it's more so they talk about like technology, right? Like calculators and computers and Even cars, mechanical things, whatever it is, right? Also information and traveling and anything that's like motion and anything that's really like space travel, UFOs, right? All that stuff. Anything that's kind of futuristic for the most part. Telex kind of has like a more romantic, um, sort of sound. They're not talking about computers or anything like that, right? They're talking about uh, all kinds of things. So it's kind of a little bit more lighthearted, maybe a little bit more cheesy for sure. But it's kind of whimsical. But it's kind of got maybe a little bit more fun to it. Maybe it's got a little bit more disco to it. It's got maybe not as rigid or electro as Kraftwerk, but more, yeah, more Giorgio Moroder, more tied to disco and just kind of fun music. More carefree. But yeah, check it out. Telex Neurovision, 61 out of 100. Good album.